The Clockmaker's Last Gift. Snow fell silently over the city, covering the streets with a soft white blanket. In a tall office building on the 24th floor, Thomas sat alone at his desk. The clock on the wall showed 8:47 p.m. Outside his window, the city sparkled with Christmas lights, red, green, gold, and blue. But Thomas saw only numbers on his computer screen. He was a financial advisor, a man who believed in facts, numbers, and logic. Christmas to him was just a commercial holiday, a time when people spent too much money, ate too much food, and pretended to be happy. He hadn't celebrated Christmas since his grandmother died 10 years ago. His phone buzzed, a message from his sister, Clara. "Merry Christmas Eve, Tom. We miss you. Mom made your favorite pie." Thomas read the message but didn't reply. He put the phone face down on the desk. He knew he should go. His family lived only an hour away. But every year he found an excuse: too much work, a tired feeling, a headache. He looked at the photo on his desk. It showed a younger Thomas with his grandmother, standing in front of a giant Christmas tree. Her name was Eleanor, and she was the only person who truly understood him. She died on Christmas Eve 10 years ago. Since then, Christmas had lost all meaning for him. He stood up and put on his coat. The office was empty. Everyone else had gone home to their families, their parties, their traditions. Thomas walked to the elevator. As he waited, he noticed a small, old-looking envelope on the reception desk. It had his name on it, written in beautiful cursive handwriting. Curious, he opened it. Inside was a simple card with a strange message. "Mr. Thomas Wells, if you find Christmas empty, come to 341 Willow Lane at midnight. Ask for the Clockmaker. You have nothing to lose but your loneliness." Thomas frowned. Who would leave such a note? 341 Willow Lane was in the oldest part of the city, where small shops and antique stores stood. He had passed it many times, but never gone inside. He almost threw the card away, but something stopped him. Maybe it was the handwriting, which looked strangely like his grandmother's. Or maybe it was the word loneliness, which hit too close to the truth. He looked at his watch. 9:15 p.m. He had time. With a sigh, he decided to go, not because he believed in magic, but because he had nothing better to do. The streets were quiet. Most people were already home. Snow continued to fall. Thomas walked with his hands in his pockets, his breath making little clouds in the cold air. He found Willow Lane easily. It was a narrow street with old gas lamps that cast a golden light on the snow. Number 341 was a small shop with a large window. In the window, hundreds of clocks of all shapes and sizes ticked and talked together. Some were grandfather clocks, some were small pocket watches, some were shaped like birds or flowers. All showed different times, yet they seemed to be in perfect harmony. Above the door, a sign read, "The Clockmaker's Sanctuary, repairing time since 1890. Thomas hesitated. This looked like the kind of place his grandmother would have loved. She collected antique clocks. He took a deep breath and opened the door.
a bell chimed softly. Inside, the shop was warm and filled with the gentle sound of ticking clocks. The air smelled of wood, oil, and cinnamon. Every surface was covered with clocks in various states of repair. On the walls, shelves reached the ceiling, each holding dozens of timepieces. "Ah, you came. I knew you would." Thomas turned toward the voice. From behind a large work table stood an old man. He had kind eyes behind round glasses and a beard as white as the snow outside. He wore a brown leather apron over a green sweater. This was the Clockmaker.
"How did you know I would come?" Thomas asked. "The lonely always find their way here on Christmas Eve," the Clockmaker said, smiling gently. "My name is Arthur. Welcome." Thomas looked around, feeling uncomfortable. "What is this place?" "This is where broken time comes to be healed," Arthur said. "But tonight it is where broken hearts come to be healed too. Come, sit. I've just made some cocoa." Arthur led Thomas to a small sitting area near a fireplace. A fire crackled warmly. 2 cups of steaming hot chocolate waited on a low table. Thomas sat, feeling confused but strangely calm. "Why am I here?" he asked. Arthur sat opposite him and stirred his cocoa. "You are here because you have forgotten. You have forgotten the magic of Christmas. You have forgotten that time is not just numbers on a clock. Time is memories, love, connections, and Christmas is the time when all of these come together." Thomas shook his head. "Christmas is just a day, a busy, noisy, expensive day." "Is it?" Arthur asked. "Or have you just chosen to see it that way?" He stood up and walked to a large grandfather clock in the corner. "This clock belonged to your grandmother, Eleanor." Thomas's heart jumped. "What? How?" "She brought it to me many years ago to be repaired. She said it was special because it was a gift from her husband, your grandfather, on their first Christmas together." Arthur opened the clock's glass door. "She also left something for you, to be given to you when you needed it most. I think that time is now." From inside the clock, Arthur pulled out a small, beautifully wrapped gift box with a silver bow. He handed it to Thomas. With trembling hands, Thomas took the box. He hadn't received a Christmas gift from his grandmother in 10 years. He carefully opened it. Inside, on a bed of red velvet, was an old pocket watch. It was silver, with delicate engravings of holly leaves and berries on the cover. He opened it. The clock face was unusual. Instead of numbers, it had 12 small symbols: a heart, a candle, a bell, a tree, a gift, a star, a snowflake, a dove, a cookie, a song note, a mittens, and a family. "What is this?" Thomas whispered. "It's a Christmas watch," Arthur explained. "It doesn't tell the time of day, it tells the time of the heart. Each symbol represents a different aspect of the Christmas spirit, and tonight it will show you what you have forgotten." "But how? It's just a watch." Arthur's eyes twinkled. "Nothing is just anything, Thomas. Everything has a purpose. This watch was made with love, and love has its own magic. Tonight you will visit 12 moments, 12 Christmases. Not just any Christmases, but the ones that matter to you. At the end, you will understand."
Thomas felt a mix of skepticism and longing. Part of him wanted to leave, to go back to his empty apartment, but a bigger part wanted to believe, to feel something again. "What do I have to do?" he asked. "Simply hold the watch, close your eyes, and think of Christmas. But remember, you are not just an observer. You are a part of these moments. You can feel, you can speak, you can even change small things. But the most important thing is to learn." Thomas looked at the watch in his palm. It felt warm. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and thought of Christmas. Suddenly, the sounds of the shop faded away. The smell of cinnamon and wood was replaced by the smell of pine needles and baking cookies. He heard laughter, a child's laughter. He opened his eyes. He was no longer in the clock shop.
Thomas found himself in a living room he remembered from his childhood. The room was filled with warm light from a Christmas tree covered in colorful lights and handmade ornaments. In the middle of the room, a little boy was sitting on the floor, wrapping a lopsided present in shiny red paper. Thomas recognized the boy. It was himself at 5 years old. Little Thomas was concentrating hard, his tongue sticking out slightly. The present was a small clay mug he had made at school. It was crooked and the handle was too big, but he had painted it with bright yellow stars. From the kitchen came a woman's voice, singing along to a Christmas song on the radio. Thomas's mother, Martha, appeared in the doorway, wiping her hands on an apron. She was younger, her hair dark brown without any gray. "Tommy, are you almost done? Grandma and Grandpa will be here soon." "Almost, Mom," little Thomas said. He finished taping the paper and held up the gift proudly. "Do you think Dad will like it?" Martha came over and knelt beside him. "He will love it, sweetheart, because you made it with love. That's what makes Christmas special, not how perfect the gift is, but how much love you put into it." Thomas, watching from the corner, felt a lump in his throat. He remembered this Christmas. His father had just lost his job and money was tight, but his parents had worked hard to make the day magical for him. He remembered his father's face when he opened the clay mug, how his eyes had shone, not because of the gift itself, but because of the love behind it. He saw his younger self run to the window. "They're here!" Through the window, Thomas saw his grandparents' old car pulling into the driveway. His grandmother Eleanor got out, carrying a large basket covered with a cloth. His grandfather Frank followed with armfuls of presents. As the family came inside, hugs and laughter filled the house. Thomas watched his younger self be swept into his grandmother's arms. "Merry Christmas, my little Thomas," she said, kissing his cheek. He watched them all, his parents, his grandparents, his younger self, gather around the tree. They weren't opening expensive gifts. They were sharing stories, singing carols, and eating simple cookies. But the room was filled with a warmth that had nothing to do with the fireplace. Thomas felt the pocket watch grow warm in his hand. He looked down. The heart symbol on the watch face was glowing softly. A voice spoke beside him. It was Arthur, but Thomas couldn't see him. "Do you understand, Thomas? The heart is the first symbol. Christmas begins with love, not romantic love, but the love of family, of giving, of being together. You have forgotten this." "I haven't forgotten," Thomas whispered. But even as he said it, it knew it wasn't true. He had pushed his family away, telling himself he was too busy,
that Christmas was just a hassle. He watched his younger self run to the window. "They're here!" And as she began the story, Thomas felt the scene fade around him. The smells, the sounds, the warmth, all dissolved into a soft light. When he opened his eyes again, he was back in Arthur's shop, sitting by the fire. Tears were streaming down his face. Arthur handed him a handkerchief. "The first lesson is often the most painful," he said gently. Thomas wiped his eyes. "That was real. I was really there." "You were. Time is not a straight line, Thomas. It's a spiral. We can return to moments, not to change them, but to remember their meaning. What did you learn?" "I learned," Thomas took a shaky breath, "I learned that Christmas wasn't about the gifts we received. It was about the love we shared. My parents had nothing in money, but they gave us everything that mattered." Arthur nodded. "Good. Hold on to that. Now, are you ready for the next?" Thomas looked at the watch. The heart symbol was still glowing, but now the candle symbol next to it began to shine. He nodded, holding the watch tighter. Again, he closed his eyes. This time, the scent of pine was replaced by the smell of wax and cold winter air.
Thomas opened his eyes to a familiar street. It was his old neighborhood, decorated for Christmas. Houses were covered with lights, and inflatable snowmen stood on front lawns. In the distance, he heard carolers singing Silent Night. He saw himself at 12 years old, walking with his grandmother Eleanor. They were carrying a small bag of groceries. Snow was falling lightly, and the street lamps made the snowflakes sparkle. "Grandma, why do we light candles at Christmas?" young Thomas asked. Eleanor smiled, her breath making a cloud in the cold air. "Because candles represent hope, Thomas. Long ago, people lit candles during the darkest time of winter to remind themselves that light would return. Christmas comes just after the longest night of the year. The candles remind us that even in darkness, there is light." "I like that," young Thomas said. "It's like the star the wise men followed." "Exactly," Eleanor said, "and we can be candles for each other, too. A kind word, a helping hand, a smile, these are all little lights we can share." They stopped in front of a small house where an elderly woman was trying to shovel her driveway. She looked tired and cold. "Wait here," Eleanor said to young Thomas. She walked up to the woman. "Margaret, let us help you." "Oh, Eleanor, I couldn't ask." "You didn't ask. We offered." Eleanor took the shovel from Margaret's hands and gave it to Thomas. "Would you like to help, Thomas?" Young Thomas nodded eagerly and began to shovel. It took him 15 minutes and his hands got cold, but he didn't stop until the driveway was clear. Margaret's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you so much. My son usually does this, but he's away this year. I was feeling so alone." Eleanor hugged her. "You're never alone, Margaret. We're your neighbors. That's what Christmas is about, community." As they walked away, young Thomas asked, "Grandma, why was she crying? We just shoveled her driveway." "Sometimes, Thomas, the smallest acts of kindness mean the most, especially when someone feels alone. You gave her more than a clear driveway. You gave her the light of kindness. You were her candle tonight." Thomas, watching from across the street, remembered this moment.
He had forgotten about it until now. That Christmas, he and his grandmother had helped several neighbors, shoveling snow, bringing cookies, just visiting those who were alone. He felt the pocket watch warm in his hand. The candle symbol was glowing brightly. Arthur's voice came again. The candle is the second symbol. Christmas light is not just on trees and houses. It is in our actions. When we help others, we become candles in the darkness. You used to know this. Thomas nodded, tears in his eyes again. I did. My grandmother taught me, but after she died, I stopped. I thought it didn't matter. It always matters, Arthur said. Every small kindness creates a ripple. Look. Thomas watched as his 12-year-old self and his grandmother returned home. Through the window, he saw his family gathered around the dinner table. They were laughing, passing dishes, telling stories. The scene was warm and bright, lit not just by the overhead light, but by the love in the room. When you focus only on your own loneliness, you become a closed door, Arthur's voice said. But when you open the door to help others, you find that your own loneliness disappears. The scene began to fade. The sound of his family's laughter echoed in his ears as he found himself back in the clock shop. Arthur was pouring more hot chocolate. 2 lessons learned. How do you feel? Sad, Thomas admitted, but also warm. I had forgotten these memories. I had buried them. That's what happens when we build walls around our hearts. We think we're protecting ourselves from pain, but we're also shutting out joy. Are you ready to continue? Thomas looked at the watch. The candle symbol glowed steadily, and now the bell symbol began to shine. He took a deep breath. Yes, I'm ready. He closed his eyes once more.
This time, Thomas heard the sound first, the clear, beautiful ringing of a bell. He opened his eyes to find himself in his old high school auditorium. The stage was decorated with fake snow and twinkling lights. A banner read, Christmas Concert 2005. He saw himself at 16, standing backstage with a trumpet in his hands. He was wearing a black suit that was slightly too big for him. He looked nervous. A teacher approached. Thomas, you're on after this song. Remember, solo starts softly, like a single bell in the distance. Young Thomas nodded, his face pale. What if I mess up? The teacher put a hand on his shoulder. You won't. Just play from the heart. Music is a gift you give to others. Don't think about perfection. Think about the joy you're sharing. From the audience, Thomas saw his family sitting in the 3rd row. His grandmother, Eleanor, caught his eye backstage and gave him 2 thumbs up. She mouthed, "You can do it." The previous song ended. The curtain opened. Young Thomas walked to the center of the stage, alone. The spotlight made him squint. He raised the trumpet to his lips. And he began to play, O Holy Night. The notes were clear and pure, like bells ringing through the silent auditorium. Thomas, watching from the wings, remembered this moment vividly. He had practiced for months. He was so afraid of making a mistake. But as he played, something happened. He stopped thinking about the notes and just felt the music. He thought about the story the song told, about hope, about light coming into darkness.
When he finished, there was a moment of complete silence. Then the audience erupted in applause. He saw his parents beaming with pride. His grandmother was crying happy tears. Backstage, she hugged him tightly. "Oh, Thomas, that was beautiful. You didn't just play the notes, you told a story. You gave everyone a gift tonight." "I was so scared," young Thomas admitted. "Of course you were," Eleanor said. "But courage isn't about not being afraid, it's about doing it anyway. And your music was like a bell. It called people to remember what Christmas is really about." Thomas, watching now, felt a deep ache in his chest. He hadn't played the trumpet in years. After his grandmother died, he put it away and never took it out again. Music had been their connection. She played piano, he played trumpet. Without her, the music felt empty. The pocket watch warmed. The bell symbol glowed. Bells call people together. They announce something important. Your music was your bell, Thomas. It was your way of sharing your heart. Why did you stop? "Because it reminded me of her," Thomas whispered. "But when you shut out the pain, you also shut out the joy," Arthur said gently. "Your grandmother wouldn't have wanted you to stop playing. She would have wanted you to keep sharing your gift, to keep being a bell for others." Thomas watched as his younger self packed up his trumpet, still glowing from the performance. His family surrounded him, all talking at once about how beautiful it was. "I was happy then," Thomas said. "You can be happy again," Arthur replied. "Joy isn't a finite resource. It grows when shared." The scene faded, the sound of applause turning into the gentle ticking of clocks. Thomas was back in the shop. He realized he was clutching the pocket watch so tightly his knuckles were white. Arthur waited patiently. 3 lessons: love, kindness, sharing your gifts. Do you see a pattern? Thomas nodded slowly. Christmas isn't about receiving, it's about giving. But not just material gifts, giving love, giving time, giving yourself. Exactly, Arthur said. Now halfway through, are you getting tired? No, Thomas surprised himself. I want to see more. I need to see more. He looked at the watch. The bell symbol glowed, and now the Christmas tree symbol began to shine. He closed his eyes, ready for the next memory.
The scent of fresh pine was overwhelming. Thomas opened his eyes to a Christmas tree farm. Families were walking among the trees, laughing and calling to each other. Snow covered the ground, and the air was crisp and cold. He saw himself at 21, home from college for winter break. He was with his father, Robert, who was examining a tall Douglas fir. "What about this one, Tom?" Robert asked. "It's a little crooked, Dad," young Thomas said. Robert smiled. "So are we all, son, but it's full and has good character, like our family." They both laughed. Thomas remembered this day. It was the last Christmas before his grandmother got sick, the last normal Christmas. They cut down the tree together, dragging it back to the car. At home, the whole family decorated it. His mother had made popcorn strings. His grandmother brought out the old ornaments, each with a story. "See this one?" Eleanor said, holding a delicate glass angel. "Your grandfather gave this to me on our first Christmas together. It survived 3 moves and 2 clumsy cats." Young Thomas hung a homemade ornament from elementary school, a clothespin reindeer with googly eyes. "I can't believe you still have this, Mom." "Of course I do," Martha said. "Every ornament tells a story. That's what makes our tree special. It's not just a decoration, it's a family history." As they decorated, they shared stories, funny memories, sad memories, happy moments. The tree became more than just a tree. It became a symbol of their family, with all its imperfections and beauty. Thomas, watching, felt a deep longing. He hadn't helped decorate a Christmas tree in years. He always said he was too busy, but the truth was, it hurt too much. The tree reminded him of everything he had lost. When the tree was finished, they turned off the lights and plugged in the tree. It glowed warmly, illuminating the room and their happy faces. "Beautiful," Robert said, putting his arm around his wife. "Another year, another tree, another chapter in our story." Young Thomas took a photo of his parents in front of the tree. That photo was still on his mother's mantle, he realized. The pocket watch warmed. The tree symbol glowed brightly. "The tree is the fourth symbol," Arthur's voice said. "It represents growth, life in the middle of winter, and family roots. Why have you been avoiding this tradition, Thomas?" "Because every year the tree gets decorated without me," Thomas said, his voice thick with emotion. "And every year I tell myself it doesn't matter, but it does matter. I'm missing the chapters of our family story." "You can still be part of the story. It's not too late. Time is flexible, especially at Christmas. The past, present, and future are all connected through memory and love." Thomas watched as his family sat around the tree singing carols. His grandmother played the piano, his father sang off-key, and his mother laughed. It was perfect in its imperfection. The scene began to dissolve. Before it faded completely, Thomas saw his grandmother look directly at him, not at his 21-year-old self, but at him, the observer. She smiled and winked, as if she knew he was there. Then he was back in the clock shop. Arthur was watching him closely. "You saw her, didn't you?" Thomas nodded, unable to speak for a moment. "She knew I was there." "Love transcends time," Arthur said simply. "Some connections are too strong to be broken by something as insignificant as death. Your grandmother's love for you is still alive. You just have to remember it." Thomas wiped his eyes. "I'm starting to understand. All these years I thought I was honoring her memory by avoiding Christmas, but I was actually dishonoring it. She loved Christmas. She would have wanted me to keep celebrating, to keep the traditions alive." Arthur smiled. "Now you're truly learning. 4 symbols down, 8 to go. But the next ones might be harder. They deal with more recent years, with pain and loss. Are you ready?" Thomas looked at the watch. The tree symbol glowed, and now the gift symbol began to shine. He took a deep breath. "I'm ready. I need to see it all." He closed his eyes again. This time, the memory was closer, more painful. The memory came with a hospital smell, antiseptic and flowers. Thomas opened his eyes to a hospital room. It was Christmas Eve, 10 years ago. He was 26. His grandmother, Eleanor, lay in the bed, looking small and fragile. Machines beeped softly. The room was decorated with a small Christmas tree on the windowsill and cards on every surface. Young Thomas sat by the bed, holding her hand. His eyes were red from crying. "Don't be sad, my Thomas," Eleanor whispered, her voice weak but clear.
I've had so many wonderful Christmases, and this one is special too, because I'm spending it with you." "I don't want you to go," young Thomas said, his voice breaking. "I know, sweetheart, but we all have our time, and my time has been full of love, especially because of you." She squeezed his hand. "I have a gift for you. It's not under the tree. It's in my heart, and I want to give it to you now." "What is it?" he asked. "The gift of remembering," she said. "Remember all the Christmases we shared. Remember the love. Remember that Christmas isn't a day, it's a feeling, and you can carry that feeling with you all year. That's my gift to you. Don't ever let it go." She closed her eyes, a peaceful smile on her face. "And one more thing. When you hear a bell ring, think of me. I'll be there in the sound." A few hours later, she passed away peacefully, with Thomas holding her hand. Thomas, watching from the corner of the room, felt the pain as fresh as if it were yesterday. He saw his younger self break down, sobbing uncontrollably. He saw his parents come in, their faces drawn with grief. He saw the nurses quietly turn off the machines. This was the moment that changed everything. This was when Christmas died for him. The pocket watch grew almost hot in his hand. The gift symbol glowed intensely. Arthur's voice was gentle. "The gift is the fifth symbol. Your grandmother's last gift to you was the most precious one, the gift of love and memory. But you misunderstood it, Thomas." "How?" Thomas whispered through his tears. "You thought that to honor her memory, you had to avoid the pain, so you avoided everything associated with her: Christmas, music, family gatherings. But in doing so, you also avoided the love. Her gift wasn't meant to make you sad. It was meant to help you remember the joy." Thomas watched as his younger self left the hospital room, broken. He wanted to reach out to him, to tell him not to make the choices he was about to make, but he couldn't. "You can't change the past," Arthur said, as if reading his thoughts. "But you can change what it means to you. Your grandmother's gift is still there, waiting for you to open it fully. She didn't give you sadness. She gave you a lifetime of love. That's what you need to remember." The hospital room faded. Thomas was back in the shop, crying openly now. Arthur handed him another handkerchief. "This is the hardest part, facing the pain we've been running from. But you're doing well, Thomas, better than you know." Thomas composed himself after a few minutes. "I thought if I didn't celebrate Christmas, I was being true to my grief, but I was actually being untrue to her memory. She loved Christmas. She would hate what I've become." "Don't be too hard on yourself," Arthur said. "Grief is a difficult journey. Everyone navigates it differently. The important thing is that you're finding your way back now." Thomas looked at the watch. The gift symbol glowed, and now the star symbol began to shine. He took a deep, shuddering breath. "Okay, I'm ready for the next one." He closed his eyes, bracing himself.
This memory was dark at first. Thomas opened his eyes to his old apartment 2 years after his grandmother's death. It was Christmas Eve, and he was alone. The room was dark except for the light from a laptop screen. No decorations, no tree, no lights. He saw himself at 28, sitting on the couch, staring at his phone. A text from his sister Clara glowed on the screen. "We're all here at Mom and Dad's. We miss you. Are you sure you won't come?" Young Thomas typed a reply. "Too much work, maybe next year." He deleted it and typed, "Not feeling well, sorry." He sent it and turned off his phone. He got up and looked out the window. Across the street, a family was decorating their Christmas tree. He could see them laughing, the children jumping up and down. He watched for a long time, his expression empty. Then he did something Thomas had forgotten about. He went to a closet and took out a small box. Inside was the pocket watch his grandmother had given him years before, the very same watch he now held. He opened it and looked at the face. Then he put it back in the box and returned it to the closet. "I don't deserve Christmas," young Thomas whispered to himself. "Not without her." Thomas, watching, wanted to shout, "That's not true! She would want you to celebrate. She would want you to be with family." But he couldn't. The pocket watch warmed. The star symbol glowed. "The star is the sixth symbol," Arthur's voice said. "Stars guide people. They give hope in darkness. But you turned away from your guiding star, your grandmother's memory and love. Instead of letting it guide you back to joy, you used it as an excuse to stay in darkness." "I thought I was honoring her," Thomas said weakly. "Honoring someone's memory means keeping alive what they loved, not burying it with them," Arthur said gently. "Your grandmother loved Christmas, family, music, giving. By rejecting all of that, you weren't honoring her, you were rejecting her gifts." Thomas watched his younger self go to bed early, without dinner, without any celebration. He looked so lonely, so lost. "That was me for so many years," Thomas said, "just going through the motions, working, isolating myself, telling myself I was fine." "But you weren't fine," Arthur said, "and somewhere deep inside, you knew it. That's why you came here tonight. Your heart was searching for its star again." The apartment scene faded. Thomas was back in the shop. He felt exhausted, emotionally drained, but also lighter, as if a weight was beginning to lift. 6 lessons, Arthur said, halfway through. "Would you like to take a break? Have some more cocoa?" Thomas shook his head. "No, I want to keep going. I need to see this through." He looked at the watch. The star glowed, and now the snowflake symbol began to shine. He closed his eyes.
This memory was cold, bitterly cold. Thomas opened his eyes to a city street on Christmas Eve 4 years ago. He was 30 years old, walking quickly, his coat collar turned up against the wind. Snow fell heavily, the flakes swirling in the streetlights. He was heading to a convenience store. Inside, he bought a frozen dinner and a coffee. The cashier, an elderly man, said, "Merry Christmas," as he handed Thomas his change. Young Thomas just nodded, not making eye contact. As he left the store, he saw a homeless man sitting in a doorway, wrapped in a thin blanket. The man had a sign that read, "Anything helps, God bless." Young Thomas walked right past him without a glance. But then he stopped. He stood there for a full minute, the snow falling on him. Finally, he turned around, went back to the homeless man and handed him the hot coffee and the frozen dinner. "Merry Christmas," young Thomas said, his voice rough. The man looked up, surprised. "Thank you, sir. God bless you." Young Thomas just nodded and walked away quickly. Thomas, watching, remembered this moment. He had felt a flicker of something, connection maybe, but then he buried it, telling himself it was just a one-time thing, that it didn't mean anything. The pocket watch warmed. The snowflake symbol glowed. "The snowflake is the seventh symbol," Arthur said. "Snowflakes are unique, fragile, and beautiful, but together they can cover the world in beauty. Each act of kindness is like a snowflake, small and seemingly insignificant alone, but together they can transform everything." "I only did that once," Thomas said. "I walked past so many people on so many other days." "But you did it that once," Arthur said. "That means the kindness was still in you. It was buried under grief and loneliness, but it was there, like a seed under the snow, waiting for spring." Thomas watched his younger self return to his apartment. He saw him take out the box with the pocket watch again. This time he held it for a long time, just looking at it. But then he put it away again. He was starting to remember, Arthur said, starting to feel, but he was afraid. Change is scary, even when it's change for the better. The memory faded. Back in the shop, Thomas ran a hand through his hair. "I was so close so many times. Why couldn't I just let go?" "Because grief had become a part of your identity," Arthur said. "Letting go of it felt like letting go of her, but that's not true. Love doesn't require grief. Love continues, grows, changes. Grief is just one part of love's journey." Thomas nodded slowly. "I'm starting to understand that now." He looked at the watch. The snowflake glowed, and now the dove symbol began to shine. He closed his eyes, ready for the next lesson. This memory was from last year. Thomas opened his eyes to his office. It was late on Christmas Eve. He was 33, the age he was now. He saw himself working at his computer, the same scene he had left hours earlier. His phone buzzed with a call from his mother. He watched himself ignore it, letting it go to voicemail. A few minutes later, his sister Clara called. He ignored that call too. Then he received a text from Clara. "Mom's in the hospital. Nothing serious, but she fell decorating the tree. She's asking for you." Young Thomas, just last year's Thomas, stared at the text. His face showed conflict. He wanted to go. He almost stood up. But then he sat back down and typed, "I have an important deadline. Send her my love." He went back to work, but his concentration was broken. He stared out the window at the Christmas lights, his expression unreadable. Thomas, watching, felt shame wash over him. His mother had been in the hospital, and he hadn't gone. He had used work as an excuse, but the truth was he was afraid of facing Christmas with his family, afraid of the memories, afraid of feeling. The pocket watch warmed. The dove symbol glowed. "The dove is the 8th symbol," Arthur said. "It represents peace, forgiveness, and the Holy Spirit in Christmas tradition. But for you, it has a special meaning. You need to make peace with yourself, Thomas. You need to forgive yourself for the years you've lost, and you need to forgive your grandmother for leaving, even though she didn't want to." "I never blamed her," Thomas said quickly. "Not consciously," Arthur said, but somewhere deep inside there was resentment. Why did she have to leave? Why did she have to take Christmas with her? Those feelings are normal, Thomas, but they need to be acknowledged and released. Thomas watched as his younger self, from just last year, finally left the office. He went to a bar instead of the hospital. He drank alone, watching other people celebrate with friends and family. "I was so lost," Thomas whispered. "But you're finding your way now," Arthur said. "That's what matters. The past is the past. You can't change it, but you can learn from it, and you can choose a different future." The bar scene faded. Back in the clock shop, Thomas felt a strange sense of clarity. The pain was still there, but it was mixed with hope now. 8 symbols, Arthur said. 4 more to go. But these last 4 are different. They're not about the past. They're about possibilities, about now and the future. Are you ready? Thomas looked at the watch. The dove glowed, and now the cookie symbol began to shine. He smiled slightly. "Cookies? Really?" Arthur chuckled. "Even the simplest things have meaning, Thomas, especially the simplest things." Thomas closed his eyes, curious about what would come next.
This time, Thomas didn't go to a memory. He found himself still in the clock shop, but something was different. The fire was brighter, the clocks were ticking in perfect unison, and Arthur was looking at him with a knowing smile. "Wait, this is now," Thomas said. "This is the present." "Exactly," Arthur said. "The cookie is the 9th symbol. It represents the simple joys, the small moments that make life sweet, like sharing cookies with someone, like this hot chocolate we're drinking, like conversation." Arthur gestured to a plate that hadn't been there before. It was filled with Christmas cookies, gingerbread men, sugar cookies with frosting, shortbread stars. "Have one," Arthur said. "Your grandmother's recipe, I believe." Thomas took a gingerbread man. He bit into it, and the taste flooded him with memories. Baking with his grandmother, the kitchen warm and smelling of spices, flour on their faces, laughter. Tears came to his eyes again, but they were happy tears this time. "It tastes exactly like hers." "Of course it does. Some things don't change. Love doesn't change. Joy doesn't change. They just wait for us to remember them." Thomas ate the cookie slowly, savoring every bite. "So this symbol is about enjoying the present moment, and about sharing it," Arthur said. "The cookie is meant to be shared. Joy is meant to be shared. That's why you're here tonight, Thomas, to remember how to share joy again." The pocket watch warmed. The cookie symbol glowed brightly. "I think I'm ready," Thomas said. "Ready to go home. Ready to see my family." "Not quite yet," Arthur said. "There are 3 more symbols, and the next one is important." He pointed to the watch. The song note symbol was shining. Thomas closed his eyes, wondering what this present moment lesson would be. When Thomas opened his eyes, Arthur was standing by an old piano in the corner of the shop, a piano Thomas hadn't noticed before. "Your grandmother loved this piano," Arthur said. "She played it every time she visited. Would you like to hear a song?" Thomas nodded, unable to speak. Arthur sat at the piano and began to play Silent Night. But as he played, something magical happened. The clocks in the shop began to chime in harmony with the music. Not just the hour chimes, but all the clocks, their ticks and tocks synchronized into a gentle rhythm that accompanied the melody. Thomas listened, mesmerized. The music filled the shop, warm and beautiful. And then he heard something else, a soft, sweet voice singing along, a voice he knew well. He turned and saw her, just for a moment, like a shimmer in the air. He saw his grandmother Eleanor standing by the fire, smiling at him, singing, "Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright." The vision lasted only a few seconds, but it was real. Thomas felt her presence, warm and loving, like a hug. When the song ended, the vision faded, but the feeling remained. The pocket watch warmed, the song note symbol glowed. "Music is the 10th symbol," Arthur said, still at the piano. "It connects us across time and space. Your grandmother is still with you, Thomas, in music, in memories, in love. You just have to listen." "I heard her. I really heard her." "Of course you did," Arthur said. "Love doesn't die, it changes form. Now you have 2 symbols left. Are you ready?" Thomas looked at the watch. The song note glowed, and now the mitten symbol began to shine. He nodded, his heart full. This time, Arthur walked to a closet and took out a box. He brought it to Thomas and opened it. Inside was a pair of hand-knitted wool mittens, red and green, with a snowflake pattern. "Your grandmother made these for you," Arthur said. "The last thing she ever knitted. She asked me to give them to you when you were ready." Thomas took the mittens. They were soft and warm. He noticed a small tag sewn inside. "For my Thomas, to keep your hands warm and your heart warmer. Love always, Grandma." He put them on. They fit perfectly. "The mittens are the 11th symbol," Arthur said. "They represent warmth, protection, and the tangible love of those who care for us. Your grandmother's love is still wrapping around you, Thomas. It always has been. You just stopped feeling it." Thomas looked at his hands in the mittens. They reminded him of all the scarves, hats, and sweaters his grandmother had knitted for him over the years. Each one was a labor of love. "I feel it now," he said. "I really do." "Good," Arthur said, "because it's time for the final symbol, the most important one." Thomas looked at the watch. The mitten symbol glowed, and now the final symbol, the family, began to shine brighter than all the others combined. Arthur stood and walked to the door of the shop. He opened it. Outside it was still snowing, but the street was different. Instead of the quiet Willow Lane, Thomas saw his parents' house. He could see the lights on the tree through the window. He could see shadows of people moving inside. "The family is the 12th symbol," Arthur said, "the most important one. Christmas begins and ends with family, the family we're born into and the family we choose. Your family is waiting for you, Thomas. They've been waiting for 10 years. Thomas walked to the door. He could see his mother in the kitchen, taking a pie out of the oven. He could see his father adjusting the star on the tree. He could see his sister Clara laughing with her husband. "I want to go to them," Thomas said. "Then go," Arthur said gently. "The watch has done its job. You've remembered what matters. Now it's time to live it." Thomas turned to Arthur. "Thank you for everything. Will I see you again?" Arthur smiled. "Whenever you need to remember, whenever you hear a clock ticking, remember, time is a gift. Use it wisely. Use it with love." He handed Thomas his coat. "Oh, and one more thing. Take this." He gave Thomas a small wrapped present. "Don't open it until you're with your family." Thomas nodded, too emotional to speak. He hugged Arthur, then turned and stepped out of the shop. As he walked toward his parents' house, he heard Arthur's voice one last time. "Merry Christmas, Thomas." He didn't look back. He knew the shop would still be there whenever he needed it, but right now, he needed to be somewhere else. He walked up the familiar path to his parents' front door. Through the window, he could see the Christmas tree, the stockings on the mantel, the table set for dinner. He could hear laughter. He took a deep breath, raised his hand, and knocked. The door opened. His mother, Martha, stood there, her eyes widening in surprise. For a moment, they just looked at each other. Then her face broke into a smile and tears filled her eyes. "Thomas?" she whispered. "Hi, Mom. You're here. You're really here." His father, Robert, appeared behind her. "Tom, is that really you?" "Yes, Dad, it's me." Soon he was surrounded by his family. Hugs, tears, laughter. They pulled him inside out of the cold. The house was exactly as he remembered it from his memories. Warm, bright, full of love. His sister Clara hugged him tightly. "We missed you so much." "I missed you too." And he meant it. They sat him down at the table. His mother brought him a plate piled with food. His father poured him a drink. They didn't ask questions about why he had stayed away for so long. They were just happy he was here now. After dinner, they exchanged gifts. Thomas realized with shame that he hadn't brought anything, but then he remembered the present Arthur had given him. "I have something for all of you," he said. He took out the small wrapped box and opened it. Inside was a beautiful antique bell. Attached was a note in his grandmother's handwriting. "From my family. Ring this bell every Christmas Eve, and I'll be with you in spirit. Love always, Eleanor." Tears flowed freely around the table. Thomas's mother rang the bell. Its clear, sweet sound filled the room. And in that sound, Thomas felt his grandmother's presence, warm and loving. He knew she was there. She had always been there. Later, as they sat around the tree, Thomas told them everything. About the note, about Arthur, about the clock shop, about the 12 symbols. They listened with wonder. When he finished, his father said, "It sounds like you met an angel, son." "Maybe I did," said Thomas. "Or maybe I just finally opened my heart to what was always there." That night, as he lay in his old bedroom, Thomas looked at the pocket watch. All 12 symbols were glowing softly. He realized the watch now showed the correct time, midnight, Christmas Day. He smiled, closed the watch, and held it to his heart. "Thank you, Grandma," he whispered. "Thank you for never giving up on me." From somewhere, he thought he heard her voice. "I never will, my Thomas, never will." He fell asleep with a peace he hadn't felt in 10 years. Epilogue. 1 year later. Snow fell silently over the city, covering the streets with a soft white blanket. In a tall office building on the 24th floor, Thomas Wells sat at his desk. The clock on the wall showed 5:30 p.m., Christmas Eve. Thomas saved his work, shut down his computer, and put on his coat. On his desk was a photo of his family from last Christmas, all of them smiling, with him in the middle. Next to it was the pocket watch, now a permanent fixture on his desk. As he left, he passed the reception desk. He smiled, remembering the note that had started everything a year ago. Down on the street, he walked with a light step. He was carrying gifts for his family, small things but chosen with love. He also carried a plate of cookies he had baked himself, using his grandmother's recipe. He passed a homeless man sitting in a doorway. He stopped, took out a $20 bill and a cookie wrapped in foil, and gave them to the man. "Merry Christmas," he said. "God bless you," the man said, smiling. Thomas continued walking. He was meeting his family for dinner, but he had one stop to make first. He turned onto Willow Lane. The gas lamps cast their golden light on the snow. Number 341 was there, the clocks ticking in the window, but the sign on the door said, "Closed for the holiday." Thomas smiled. He took an envelope from his pocket and slipped it through the mail slot. Inside was a thank you card and a photo of his family from last Christmas. As he walked away, he heard the gentle chiming of clocks from inside the shop. Or maybe it was just the wind. He didn't look back. He arrived at his parents' house right on time. Through the window, he could see the Christmas tree, the stockings, his family moving about. He could hear laughter and music. He didn't hesitate this time. He walked right up and opened the door. "Thomas is here," someone called. He was enveloped in hugs, greetings, love. The house was warm and bright, full of the smells of good food and pine needles. Later, after dinner, they all gathered around the tree. Thomas's mother brought out the bell his grandmother had left. She rang it, and its clear sound filled the room. "To Grandma," Thomas said, raising his glass. "To Grandma," everyone echoed. As they sat there, sharing stories and laughter, Thomas felt a deep contentment. He had come home, not just to this house, but to himself, to the person his grandmother had always known he could be. He took out the pocket watch. All 12 symbols were glowing softly. Love, kindness, music, family, all of it shining bright. His sister Clara sat beside him. "You seem different, Tom. Happier." "I am," he said. "I finally understand what Christmas really means." "And what's that?" she asked. He smiled, looking around at his family, at the tree, at the love that filled the room. "It means coming home, to the people you love, and to yourself." Outside, snow continued to fall, covering the world in a blanket of white. Inside, the fire crackled, the tree lights twinkled, and a family laughed together. And somewhere in the sound of a bell, or the ticking of a clock, or the notes of a Christmas song, a grandmother smiled, knowing her gift had finally been received. Time had been repaired, a heart had been healed, and Christmas, real Christmas, had returned.